Let's go to NASCAR while we've got you guys here. And the Folds of Honor Quiktrip 500 is in Atlanta this weekend. And Geoff, you know, I know you like your Buick LeSabre. We don't have time to talk about that. What's a top 10 bet that you do like this week?
A top 10 bet. Yeah, let's go right there. I mean, you know, you look at obviously the NASCAR, the odds. I mean, we're not getting like huge odds to take top 10 on a lot of the top players, but I think you can look at a guy like Ross Chastain at minus 110. I mean, he's driven really well to start the year. I mean, last week overcame a 17th place start to battle for the lead at the end of the race. I think he ultimately finished second last week. So, or maybe that was 2 weeks ago. Anyways, this guy's driven really well to start the year. And I think Chastain is a player or a driver, excuse me, just got golf on.
He's like a player.
At minus 110. He should be live for a top 10 here. He's driven really well to start the year, and you're getting decent odds on him, a lot better than a lot of the other top drivers. So
a player, a driver, same difference, Pearce. Top 10 bet you like.
So Geoff picked up on something. The odds are kind of strange this week, and that's because no one knows what to expect from this race. They repaved the track. They put in new banking. It's completely different. This could be a plate race, kind of like Daytona or Talladega, where we see a bunch of wrecks and these underdogs come through with the top 10. And if that's the case, then I like David Reagan at plus 700 to get a top 10. You've got Corey LaJoie plus 350, Michael McDowell plus 150. Those guys are all really good plate racers. In a normal race, their odds for a top 10 should be much longer. But the sportsbooks seem to think that this will be a plate track race. We'll know Friday afternoon after practice if that's going to happen. But you can lay these bets now.
Pearce, staying with you, is there a long shot that you like this week?
Noah Gragson at plus 9,000. If this is a plate race, then anyone is in play. He has a plate track win in the Xfinity Series. He's going to be in a colored car. It's a pretty decent car. They've had pretty good plate equipment. Again, this is kind of depends on if this is going to be a plate race or not. We'll find out in practice how it races, because right now we only have computer simulations to determine this. But Noah Gragson or any of these long shots are an interesting play.
What about you, Moose?
yeah, I mean, look, this is you know, they changed the track up a bit. I mean, at Atlanta, so there's a lot of variables. I'm not as like I definitely didn't dive into the guys as deep in the odds as Pearce did, but I feel like at plus 1,600, Martin Truex, just with his previous finishes at Atlanta, has to be someone who's going to be live at plus 1,600. It's not massive odds, but you know, 6 top 5 finishes in his last 11 races at Atlanta, 10 top 10 finishes. I mean, his average just, you know, finish place here is, you know, better than 7th. I think Martin Truex Jr. is probably someone who at least is live at plus 1,600. There's so many variables with this one, though, because I don't even know if like the previous Atlanta form is going to come into factor, or like Pearce said, it's just going to be a completely different race. So it all depends on how you're looking at this race this week, it feels like. I think there's a couple people like above plus 1,000 that you definitely feel live, but this could work out in multiple ways. I think Truex Jr., just with his history at Atlanta, you've got to give him at least a little bit of credit for that. And I think his odds are, at the very least, a little bit bigger than they should be. So,
Geoff, we need your pick. Who's going to win the Folds of Honor Quiktrip 500?
All right, well, I'm going with another, like, not semi-long shot, but I mean, Tyler Reddick. I mean, this dude's just raced really well to start the year, too. I mean, he led the most laps at the Auto Club 400, and then he had a flat tire. He did back-to-back top 10 finishes, 3rd place last week. He just looks ready. This dude like just signed a contract, I think, Pearce, if I'm correct. And so, I mean, you know, when you sign the contract with the company, what do you want to do? You want to show off for that company. I think it's a good spot for him. He's just, you know, his pace, his car's going well. He's pushing the pedal to the metal, right, Pearce? Give me Tyler Reddick at plus 1,600 to win this race.
Every possible cliche he could throw out, pedal to the metal. What do you think, Pearce? Who's your winner?
Well, to connect to Geoff's world, imagine you have a golf course, you drop a nuclear bomb on it. Now, do you rebuild the same golf course, or do you build a completely different golf course? That's the question that we're looking at with Atlanta. Is it the same Atlanta, or is this a completely different track? We don't know. So guess what? You play a guy like Denny Hamlin, who is good at plate tracks. He's also good at the regular intermediate tracks. So you just got to live that hedge life with Denny Hamlin.